Part of the impressiveness or awe or part of the prestige of working at this university is you're surrounded by not only professionals but athletes, students that are trying to do very special things. It's a really rare environment where you can walk out to a track and field practice and find a two-time Olympic hurdler who has his PhD in higher education standing next to a two-time Olympic hurdler who is a pharmacist, standing next to another Olympian that has a degree in engineering. It's and they're not, they're bright, very intelligent, very driven student athletes here that have massive aspirations for their personal life, but they also have massive aspirations for their athletic career. We have 926 athletes this year, and they all truly believe that they can do something special on the field, or on the court, or on the track, and that's pretty cool. It makes working here more fun because we take pride in getting people back to what they want to do. That's why we do what we want to. That's why we do what we do. But it's really cool when you're helping a kid that is one day going to go play for a national soccer team and compete for a World Cup. We introduced it to the track and field program first, primarily because of my experience with the track and field program, knowing the demands of orthotic devices alone, whether we were handing out over-the-counter devices or the various degrees of custom devices. It's probably, and I don't know for sure, but it's probably one of the sports here on campus that has the highest demand for orthotic devices. But I knew that if this system could get its roots in the ground, so to speak, could really build a base with our track and field program and help solve a lot of issues or help our three athletic trainers with track and field with their job, I knew it could work for every other sport. We've started using the Footscan with our track and field program and our women's soccer program first, and then we introduced it to our men's and women's basketball programs, and we're slowly just kind of adding sports to it. One, from a change point of view, change is always scary, so we want to, no pun intended, we want to dip our toe in first before we jump in, and I think it's a way, one, just to build comfort, two, to make it not seem like this crazy new thing that we're trying to do and have too much attention over it. We want it to be just part of the day, part of a normal assessment, and two, it's clinician dependent. It's a very easy system to use, but we want to make sure that the quality of the product that we're getting is as high as possible. And along with an orthotic device, we want to make sure that the product or the quality of the clinical information is high as well. The advantage of the Footscan system in our department here is we're hopeful. We don't know yet, but we're hopeful that it's going to lead us into the path of data analytics, any form of research. Injury prevention is key. Obviously, we can fit orthotics that we know are going to work for our athletes, but we see it fitting in a bigger picture. using it in return to play protocols post-injury, using it with our gait analysis lab and with a gait analysis protocol that we use. So it's one of the first screening devices that we'll use in an athlete's assessment. It's very important that we find some form of objective information on this. Otherwise, we're wasting time, right? And we don't have the luxury of being in a sports medicine clinic for general population. We do the same things, but we don't have the time to look at someone one day, test them, and wait for them to come back in a month to discuss further plans. So having objective data from this information is an instantaneous use. So the athlete walks across it, runs across it. We take a second to clean up some of the data, and right then and there, we're comparing that to their injury history, what they do in their sport, their previous orthotic use or not, and then we're making clinical, actionable decisions regarding their health. So it's hugely important. Giving someone or showing someone information is huge, especially nowadays. We can show the athlete, hey, when we say that your big toe isn't dorsiflexing well, this is what we mean, and we can show them on the foot scan, exactly the point of their gait where that limitation is. And that might be a little oversimplified, but for reference points, if you can get an athlete or a patient, any patient, on the same page as you can solve problems a lot faster. The system does a phenomenal job of recommending, hey, this is what should be done. But athletics, just like any other patient population, it's not going to be cookie cutter every case. So I've had a couple cases where I've needed to call Sonder, and that's really Sonder's been a great help, walking me through the system and understanding, that the system's warnings are mimicking what I would do usually with an orthotic. So just keep following that train of thought, and when you need to modify, you can modify. It's pretty easy. People that are not used to wearing devices, they're going to have a little bit of an adjustment period mentally of I need to make sure I put this in my shoe. When I change shoes, I need to make sure that I put it in my other shoe. So we are dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, and sometimes, in the rush getting to class or in the rush coming from class to practice, you forget to grab the pair of shoes that has your orthotic in it. That happens. But the ones that I've talked to that have been wearing them, my athletes in the soccer team have had zero issues with them. Very satisfactory. But I would say overall, it's very successful. They're durable. They're holding up to our distance runners, which some of our runners are putting in over 100 miles a week. So it is a very satisfying product so far.